Avengers vs. X-Men season is here and I am excited. Today we are checking out the new cards, locations, art, albums, and all the stuff coming in this new season. In this installment of Season Pass Review. What's up, nerds? Let's jump right in with the Season Pass card, Hope Summers. Hope Summers is a 3 energy 4 power card that reads, after you play a card here, you get +1 energy next turn. This card seems pretty good, right? I think so. Now, maybe I'm just conditioned because I really like Thanos, but a lot of new cards that come out, the first thing that comes to my mind is Thanos. You get to use the Infinity Stones as gas for the Hope Fire and ramp up, and since you don't have Lockjaw really anymore in Thanos, Hope Summers can kind of be considered the Lockjaw replacement in Thanos decks. Basically, instead of pulling stuff out of your deck like Lockjaw would, you're just playing them out of your hand with Hope Summers ahead of curve thanks to all that extra energy. Now, she's of course good with cards like Wasp, Yellow Jacket, Nightcrawler, Jeff, and Kitty Pryde. And I think the potential of this card really can't be figured out until she's gotten to be played for at least a day or two. Once all you grubby nerds get your hands on Hope Summers and you start trying all the absurd stuff, that's where I think we'll finally see how good this card actually is. And make no mistake, she definitely has the chance, the ability to change the metagame and just completely shake up how Marvel Snap is currently played, or at least how the metagame looks. So if you're wondering if you should pick up the Season Pass or not, absolutely pick it up. Not only do I think it's great value, but I think Hope Summers is going to be, or at least has the potential to be, one of the best Season Pass cards we've had in quite a while. Next up is Pixie. Pixie is a 2 energy 1 cost card that reads, on reveal, shuffle the costs of all cards in your deck that started there. Now, careful when theory crafting with Pixie, because if you think about this card too long, your brain will start leaking out of your ears. I am not a medical professional, but I just want to cover all my bases. I don't have insurance. Now, her most boring use case seems to be Mr. Negative as like another way to shuffle up the cost of stuff in your deck. So if you don't play Mr. Negative on turn 3 or 4, you're not playing a completely terrible deck. But I think just like Hope Summers, it's going to be really interesting to see what she enables. And honestly, I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be silly decks where it's like 6 drops, or basically 6 expensive cards and 6 cheap cards, and you're just counting on Pixie to flip all the costs of that stuff, and you end up playing like 1 energy Magnetos and Gigantos and stuff like that. But I mean, once again, when this is out for a couple of days, then we'll really get a better picture of how busted she could be or how useless she might be. One thing to note with Pixie is that Mobius does remove her downside, so if you're gonna pick up Pixie and test with her, just keep in mind that you should probably be playing Mobius not only to stop opposing Pixies, but to make your deck even better. Yeah, I don't know. All you nerds who are theory crafting a Pixie, let me know what you got going on in the comment section below, because my head hurts already. Moving on. Mock.
Yeah.
Ing.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah. 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 Mockingbird.
Mockingbird's the next card. Does Thanos really need more cards that make it better? Or does it? I don't know. Mockingbird seems ridiculous. There are a lot of cards in the game that reduce their cost. The Infinity Stones do count because the stones did not start in your deck. But aside from that, you have Debris, Squirrel Girl, Mysterio, stuff you get off of like card generators like Sentinel and Coulson and Moon Girl and stuff like that. Oh yeah, also Brood too. I think any Patriot deck is probably just going to end up running Mockingbird as like a value card. Because if you're playing this with like Brood and Squirrel Girl, or Brood and Mysterio, whatever, Mr. Sinister even, she's probably going to be free. And I don't care what kind of deck you're running, you'll take a free 9 power. I feel like Mockingbird is a must buy because it doesn't matter what kind of player you are. If you're a combo player, if you're a discard player, whatever, like she's going to work with swarms too. So I don't think it matters what kind of player you are. You should probably pick up Mockingbird because at some point she will be usable in whatever deck you make. It's a great card. Cannonball is up next. Cannonball is a 5 energy 8 power card that reads, on reveal, move the highest power enemy card here away. If you can't, destroy it with a rock. I think it means destroy it with a rock. I think it means you create a rock and you destroy that card. I don't know, this is on a website. I just copy pasted it. I'm not really sure what to think about this card. Part of me thinks it's just like a Juggernaut and Stegron type card. And at some points, those cards are really good. We all know how cheeky Juggernaut can be, but sometimes it's kind of trash. But the more I think about the fact that he targets the highest power card in a lane, the more I think this card actually might be a really sick tech card that swings lanes on the last turn of the game, kind of like Shang-Chi or Enchantress. Because the highest power cards, that's usually, if you can get rid of that or move it out of a lane, you're going to win that lane. So yeah, Cannonball might be mid. He might be like the new go-to tech card. It's like a mix of like Arrow and Shang-Chi. That seems pretty decent. But once again, the whole like move stuff out of lanes hasn't proven to be solid in the past, but maybe this newer, better version is solid now. I don't know though, anytime a card like this comes out, I don't want to immediately shit on it, because we all know how that turned out with Legion. Almost everyone called that card trash, and it ended up being so good it got nerfed like 2 weeks after it came out. War Machine is the last card up, and at first glance, like when this was spoiled a month ago or whatever, I was like, meh, everything's Jeff, I guess that's okay. But when I saw this on Twitter, my butthole puckered up. And yes, you are reading that right. According to the developers, War Machine is a way to cheat out or play Infinite and cards like Ebony Maw without having their conditions met or removed. Basically, War Machine being on the battlefield like on turn 5 or whatever will let you play Infinite on turn 6 and Ebony Maw, because nothing is stopping you from playing them, therefore you can play them. That's how those words work. Not to mention, War Machine like completely shits on Professor X and Storm and any lockdown strategy, really. So if War Machine works as promised, and I don't see why it wouldn't, but maybe the devs made a mistake, I don't know. But if this works like we've been told, then this card is super sick, and it might warp the metagame. Almost every deck will consider running this, because why wouldn't you want to play an Infinite and Ebony Maw with no restrictions whatsoever? That seems really good. And worst case scenario, all your cards are Jeff. So yeah. And here we have the 2 new locations. First up is Krakoa. If you remember, this used to be in the game. It was very annoying, so they removed it, but now it's back, and it says your first play here adds its power to the top of your deck. And then we have Utopia. 3 and 4 cost cards cost 1 less. We also have 3 new albums coming. We have the Max Grek album, the Midnight Suns album, and a tarot card album. I don't really have any of those variants. But yeah, more stuff that can get you free things in the game is cool with me. And then finally, we have the new variants that are coming in the Spotlight caches. All these are pretty cool, except for Spider-Ham and Mobius. Sorry if you guys are fans of that kind of art. I am not. But a lot of these are super sweet. That Miss Marvel and Silver Samurai are definitely, but even the Ghost Spider. Those are like the best versions of the cards. Also, check out the variant list on marvelsnapzone.com. There's a bunch of more variants that are coming to the game. Not like in the shop or anything or Spotlight caches, just in the game, and they're really cool. That is it though. That's all the stuff I got for this video. I think the cards this season are crazy, honestly. Maybe they're not all they seem to be, but if they're like half as good as they seem when you glance at them, I think this season is really going to change a lot in Marvel Snap. The metagame, how decks are made, all that stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out my sponsor, Into the AM, in the description below. They're a clothing company based out of California. Got a bunch of cool graphic tees and fundamentals and basics of menswear. You get 10% off site-wide if you use the code NERF10. And also, if you want to support me, you can pick up some of my merch. It's not really merch. I just made cool clothes that happen to say Nerf Herder on them. But yeah, you get 10% off if you're a member of this channel. That's it. See you in the next video. Later, nerds.